Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Crushing Land. Happy to be here with you once again. I apologize for the delay. It's been a few weeks since we've had a Crushing Land episode. I had a little bit of a hiatus, and the simple reason for that was that I was actually in the process of packing up and moving across the country and just didn't take the time to record any videos, any episodes during that time. And a good reason for that is that one of the things that we try to constantly do is bring you relevant information for what's going on right then and there. I don't go in and record, go in for a day and say record, 50 of these and have them set out for the year. No, that's not the way it works. Right? We record them literally at the time of the event so that it's relevant and something that's going on right then and there. And you may say, well, how much can things really change in a matter of a few weeks? Well, let's just look at what happened in that time, right? In that time, just in the political landscape of the United States, there was an assassination attempt on one presidential candidate, and then the other presidential candidate dropped out of the race and was replaced by somebody else. Did that have a big shakeup in the economy? No, not yet. Will it? We don't know. Could it have been huge? Absolutely, right? And so that was just a couple of events, major events that transpired in that time. And had something been recorded months in advance, obviously, depending on how those events transpired, what took place, things like that, it could have obviously been completely irrelevant information that we were putting out there for you. And so because of that, we always make sure to record what you're hearing literally the day before at the most. We're never going out very far with these things. A lot of times, as you know, they're live, right? We're doing it live right then and there. And so whatever the case may be, it's the most relevant information for that time. And so again, not really in a circumstance to do anything for a few weeks because of what was going on. And so with that, I do apologize for the delay, but happy to be back here with you and bringing you again information that's relevant to what's going on in the world of real estate investing. That being said, one of the things we're going to talk about, because it goes hand in hand with this, is what we're seeing and questions that we're being asked about all that's out there. There's so much information that's now available. And people are saying, well, how do I make heads or tails of this? And all I want to say is this is not the first time, nor will it be the last time that this type of situation happens. Before the crash in 2008, so we're going back 16 years before that crash, there was so many people out there teaching people how to invest in real estate. Now, it was a little bit more difficult back then. Yes, the internet existed, and yes, you could get your product out that way, but generally speaking, it involved buying something, it involved going to some sort of event, it involved getting CDs, or papers in a binder in the mail, whatever it may be. So there was a little bit more work involved, but the idea was still the same. And what happened? Well, everybody jumped in and everybody was started to teach it. Well, why was that the case? Because it was easy, right? The market was doing this, going up, 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 up. And as it's going up, 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 it's easy to tell people how to invest and how to make money, because really all you had to do was, throw enough at the wall and something was going to stick and you were going to make money. And so that's what took place in those years leading up to 2008. Well, what happened after 2008? Well, the vast majority of people that came out and started promoting these different things had to stop. They either had to stop because it was completely irrelevant, or they had to shift. And some of them did shift. They started getting into like short sale. There's people that were teaching different things and they started talking about short sales at that point. They started talking about REO, whatever it may be. But what they were actually teaching, they had to shift into teaching something else. And that was the select few that actually did it. The vast majority of people just, hands up, had no clue what to do. And the same is going to happen now. The same thing is going to happen in the years to come here, because basically what's going on right now is everybody that's out there propagating information, not everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but a good majority of people that are out there propagating information, it's all based on the COVID market. What's the COVID market? Well, obviously it's people were home and they were looking for something to do. So a lot of them started investing in real estate. If you look at people that are out there teaching this, they're all saying, well, I've been doing this for 3, 4, 5 years. Those COVID years, right? They started with the COVID years. The market was super hot. And so it was very easy to do this from home, and it was very easy to buy and sell land or real estate or whatever it may be and make money doing it without a whole lot of adjusting. And so because of that, people are like, hey, I did this from home. I did it in this thing, everybody's home, so it's easy to go out and teach others how to do it. What's going to happen? Well, obviously things are going to shift. We're already seeing that. We're not in that same market even now that we were just a year or two ago. And so as it continues to decline, then as that happens and it becomes more of a seller's market, well, adjustments need to be made. And as the economy shifts and these things happen, right now it's still pretty strong, right? But as that stuff happens, what's going to take place? Well, a lot of those educators, a lot of those people out there that are saying use this technique, it's simply going to disappear because it's not going to work any longer. So when people say, well, how do I make heads or tails out of this? The basic bottom line is, are you looking at something that can be done in any economy, right? Is what you're being taught work in any economy? Does it work in any economy? Now, obviously, there's going to be nuances. There's going to be adjustments that are made in those things. But we have been investing in land now for 12 years. And 13 years, I'm sorry, 13 years. And in those 13 years, we've made very minor adjustments. We made adjustments that deal with technology and using other things that are benefit. We've obviously adjusted what we offer and what we sell for, but we've continued basically down the same path in things that were cooler in kind of a marginal, just lukewarm market to a super hot market to now cooling back down. And if you make the adjustments and if you really understand the land investing business or real estate investing business, if you're not doing land, if you're doing something else, you'll be able to make the same adjustments as well. And that's one of the other things to look at, because somebody brought up to me a very interesting point. It's that there's this group of people out there that are all teaching. They're all networking. I mean, that's right. They're all teaching a thing, but they're all networked together, and they're all basically like just telling other people how they need the other person. And the interesting fact that somebody that came into our program was looking at was basically saying that none of those things were directly related to actually figuring out real estate. They were related more to different strategies inside of that, how to market, right? How to accelerate things, right? How to look at the next level, how to basically automate all of these different things that come into play inside of the business, but without actually ever taking the time to explain, well, how does real estate investing work? And the simple reason for that is that, again, coming from the COVID market, you don't really need to do that. All you needed to do was find something, identify it, and move it to somebody else and use those strategies to do that. But we're getting to the point now where limited knowledge of real estate investing, limited knowledge of real estate is going to be a huge detriment. And all that other stuff isn't going to mean a whole lot, because those strategies are all going to kind of start to slip and slide and go in different ways as the market shifts. Whereas knowledge of the product, knowledge of which is real estate, knowledge of the product that's out there, knowledge of the moving parts, knowledge of what's involved, knowledge of what sellers are thinking, knowledge of what buyers are thinking, knowledge about which properties move, how they move, all of the different aspects, how they can be used, what to look for, all of those different things is what's really going to matter. And honestly, it's what's really mattered the entire time. And so we're going to start to see that shift more and more as we're going along. So it's just something to keep in mind here as you're trying to make heads or tails out of everything that is out there, right? Is it something that is basically catered to like a very specific time frame, and it was, hey, let's put this out there and now you're like, is that really going to work anymore? Or is it something that you can say, no, I can see how this will work in a seller's market, it'll work in a buyer's market, it'll work in a neutral market. Conversely, along with that, as you're looking at different things, you can sit there and say, well, is this really setting me up for success as a real estate investor and understanding the aspects of real estate? Or is it basically more of focusing on an idea and real estate basically just becomes a product? And honestly, real estate is our product, but you'll have to understand your product, right? You don't go out and you don't buy or sell something that you don't understand, right? You go and understand your product in any business first, and then you go and buy and sell it. Then you go figure out marketing. Then you go figure out automation, all of that. So it's not about getting limited knowledge of the product and then huge knowledge of the other aspects. No, it's about getting huge knowledge of your product, and then you can adjust based on the circumstances for all those other things. So again, just trying to help you make some heads or tails out of everything that's out there. We obviously offer help with that. We have different levels of programs, different levels of coaching, all different things that can help you with that. You can feel free to reach out to us directly. The contact information is below here. For that, you can go to landmethod.com and look at that. But even if you're looking elsewhere, right, regardless of where you're looking, just look at those ideas, because again, this is stuff that's coming to me from other people, right? They're hearing these things, they're seeing these things, and this is what they're putting out there. So when you're looking at these things, do they actually fit the mold for giving you a very good indication of the market and your product with that market, and how to identify that and how to use it, and then these other aspects that help to facilitate it? Or is it the other way around? And also, again, is it true in any market? Because if it's not, then you're kind of setting yourself up. But people are already asking that. We've had people reach out and say, well, I've done this, this, and this, and now things are shifting. What do I do, right? They're already getting a little concerned, and we're still pretty stable right now. Things are changing, but we're still pretty stable. So it's going to continue to be that way. So it's just something to look at. Again, trying to make heads or tails out of everything and what is relevant right now. Again, recording this basically first day of August, right? In 2024, putting this out there for you guys to see this and think about it and be able to use it to really accelerate your land investing and to accelerate your land investing, real estate investing, or whatever it is. Even if you're looking at this from a non-real estate investing, if you're just looking at it from the standpoint of buying and selling a product, understanding that product, understanding your idea, your what you're bringing to the market, and then understanding from that the different nuances to it, and then from there obviously bringing up to the levels, because that will help you. And it's funny because I've seen people that have done this, and yes, there's people that are doing very well right now or have in the last few years that jumped in, but I'm looking at people on the flip side of that basically have been involved for a long time, and they started realizing, hey, I really understood the product, I took the time, I did this, and I started here. And because of that, their growth has been even more exponential in what they're able to do by mixing those different aspects together. So again, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us this week on Crushing Land. We'll continue to bring you great content. Make sure to like and subscribe. Feel free to comment below with anything. And again, reach out to us for any questions that you may have about your land investing needs. Thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next week on another episode of Crushing Land.